I could do work at whatever time I want, at whatever space that I want, and I get accountable for my work, which was there. So the implications was that people became more independent in terms of thinking. People became more observant. In fact, everybody became a manager in themselves because you were taking decisions for your own self, which was better for you and for the organization because you were not there asking people, "अच्छा मैं अभी क्या करूँ?" Manager को नहीं पूछा मैंने कि what should I do next? Because you were sort of thinking about yourself. So I think that this independent decision making, risk taking, I think it was a good impact that went on to people.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today it is an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce you all to this very particular session where we are going to know more about the work flexibility and engagement. My name is Harsh and I'm going to moderate this session for all of you wherein I'm going to introduce you all about session and perhaps the person who is going to interact and address all of us. First of all, I request you all to kindly acknowledge and welcome the presence of our esteemed guest, Madam Rashmi Mandloi, who is here with us. I would like to request all the persons, those who are watching this session on YouTube, to kindly upload in the comment section and welcome the presence of our guest. Our guest, Madam Rashmi Mandloi, is a leading inclusionist and action coach in Asia Pacific as managing partner with Beyond Diversity based in Mumbai. She leads their inclusion consulting and coaching practice. Her strength lies in engaging individuals over any dilemma and supporting them to think through successful possibilities within a linkage to purpose, passion, and values. So, first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Harsh, and it's a pleasure to be here. And it's always fun to talk to the new generation and to talk about the future of work. So I'm very glad that I'm here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's our pleasure too. The ongoing pandemic has made many organizations rethink and reschedule their routines. Gone are the days of the typical 9 to 5 work scenario. Due to the restriction imposed during the pandemic about social distancing, no crowd gathering, and so on, the workplaces have become bare and the employees have been asked to work remotely from home. Ma'am, my first question to you is how is the employees' well-being and effectiveness affected by this new scheduling?
So flexibility of work was always there in the organizations. Most of the organizations, if you looked at policies and processes that they had, but of course the pandemic sort of it sort of made it 100% for everybody, where it was being used by a very very minority population. It ended up being for everybody. So it was sudden, it was new, and it was confusing for most of the people. So to the point from where March 2020 to right now, we are in March 2021, it's almost a year, uh, where people have worked, couple of people have come back to work, but there is still this entire uh, you know working has sort of taken a total 360-degree turn. So of course, because there was so much of uncertainty, uh, it meant that people were a lot more fearful. People were a lot more uncomfortable with the new things because they were used to coming to office. They were used to having people around. They were used to reaching out to people. So because they did not have anything around them, it led to loneliness also quite a bit. And of course, because when you were now working at home, sometimes you get up in the morning and it was like a routine in everybody's life, right? You spend that much of time with your spouse, you spend that much of time with your children or your parents or whatever, and suddenly they were there 24 by 7 in front of you, around you, and you were managing. So they were the new co-workers for you. So so I would say stress and emotional turmoil was the biggest impact, and that's what we saw. Of course, mental health, and everybody's been talking about it, mental health and emotional health was the biggest impact which came out, where people sort of started understanding what is solitude, what is depression, being alone. So of course, yeah. So that was the biggest challenge that from a work from home and from a emotional perspective that people had.
Indeed, ma'am. I think you have given a very detailed overview and it was a quite insightful answer. Ma'am, my next question to you is what are the implications of giving employees more control over their schedules?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, there is, implication means that your decision making that was being told to you by your manager or by the organization setup, you are now doing your own, you are basically the owner of your own time and the way you would want to do work, right? So there's this biggest thing about decision making which started coming into people, where they said, hey, now, I can get up anytime I want. I can, of course, there were meetings and there were Zoom calls, which were any which was happening. But I could do work at whatever time I want, at whatever space that I want, and I get accountable for my work, which was there. So the implications are that people became more independent in terms of thinking. People became more observant. In fact, everybody became a manager in themselves because you were taking decisions for your own self, which was better for you and for the organization, because you were not there asking people, "Acha, main abhi kya karu?" Manager ko nahi pucha maine ki what should I do next, because you were sort of thinking about yourself. So I think that this independent decision making, risk taking, I think it was a good impact that went on to people.
Indeed, ma'am. Again, it was a quite insightful answer from your side, and as you have mentioned that every will now became the manager of own. They have the means liberty to choose their own working hour, how they have to work, how they want to work, and they can means reschedule the things according to their preferences and their choice. Ma'am, if we talk about this post-pandemic, after this ongoing pandemic, what can we better align our work schedules with the needs of our employees? Personal schedule fit our finding the right hours for the right person is an important factor to consider when contemplating a post-pandemic strategy.
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I said in my previous question, we were aligning our work strategy and everything aligned to the organization strategy. So, yeah, absolutely, we have to do that. I mean, the work strategy has to change. Uh, but there are now larger implications which are happening right now because of this. Now, because people have now sort of tasted blood, and so have organizations. People have now started saying that, hey, I don't have to come at morning 9 o'clock because you've told me to come. I can now, I don't have to be, coming all the way to a major city center, though I might be living in a suburb where I am traveling. If you're living in Bombay and Delhi or places, coming in a metro, coming in a train, it's really energy sapping. So people are saying that, hey, I can, I don't need to do that. So can I now start rethinking the way work in totality has been spoken about? So I don't need to come to office. Whatever work that you're doing, you give me the infrastructure wherever I want to go. But there was another thing which also happened, because not everybody's house was big enough, and there were lots of people working, and so they did not have that space which is required to work. So then that got into another alternative thinking, saying that, okay, fine, I maybe don't have my own space in my own house, but maybe I can go to a place which is very close to where I live. I don't necessarily have to go all the way to the main place, main headquarters, which is happening. Can you get me a similar, smaller office which is closer to my house? So this entire prospect of, organizations where they can hire workspaces like a WeWork or a co-work, I think they have a lot of tremendous potential here. Um, and and the second part is about also the way we are looking work. So one is this infrastructure where you're saying, okay, I can work I can work remotely, or I can work somewhere from an office which is closer to my house. I don't necessarily need to go there. I can go to the main office if it's required and it's very important. Then I can sort of end up going there, but not every day. And the second thing was that the types of roles. So I need to, I can get into becoming a full-time worker. I can become a gig worker also, because I don't need to sort of end up doing what what you are telling me to do. Maybe the organization themselves and say, oh, there's too much of cost. We do not have infrastructure right now. We need this kind of projects. They can work out of home, but we need people only for that particular project. So I can end up becoming a gig worker also. I can end up becoming part time. I can end up sort of taking 2-3 projects in 2-3 different works. So the fundamental thinking about work has totally changed right now, and that is what we are seeing.
Indeed, ma'am. Ma'am, my next question to you is: do you think that collaboration powers productivity? Actually, I have got this question from one of our subscriber. He's asking that because of this work from home, or if we take the example of this gig workers, we have many people believe that this collaboration part is affected. What do you think? It is really affected, or it is just a futile thought?
Collaboration powers, I mean, of course, collaboration powers productivity. You cannot do everything on your own. And of course, when people are together, they're coming in together, then there's more collaboration because people are around, and you can ask for help. You can ask to collaborate, saying, hey, I don't know this part of thing, can you do it? Can we do it together? Can we brainstorm together? So collaboration, of course, increases productivity. But who's saying that you cannot do collaboration while you're working virtually as well? So you have this various you have this various tools which are already available right now, and we are using currently. One is Zoom, Slack, a couple of other tools that can end up using. Of course, your phone is always there, your WhatsApp is there. So sharing of information, talking in terms of voice and video is all there. So how can you more collaborate? That you need to be very, very clear about if you're collaborating in a virtual world. Uh, but what I also would feel that right now what is going to happen is going to be a mix of both virtual and physical, because people do want to people get energy meeting each other. The social context is very, very important for human beings. So you cannot end up being saying कि मैं एक कोने में टिबकटू में बैठ के काम करूंगा, and I can end up doing work which is required for me. Somewhere down the line, there are a lot of information which does get lost, even though you are collaborating or virtually and you're talking every day. So it's always good to sort of move beyond the virtual and meet sometimes. So I basically would predict that the regular 5 or 6 day working week is going to go away. The regular 9 to 5 way of working is going to go away. What is going to be looking at is that people might just say, okay, I will work 4 days a week. One day I'll come to office. I will, everybody before pandemic, there was this entire couple of organizations used to do something called hot desking. So I will choose my seat in office. I'll have to block it beforehand before I'm coming, saying, hey, I'll come the next Thursday, or I'll come the next Tuesday, and I'll block it. And I'll call my collaborators also on that day. And I'll say, hey, can we come together and, talk and collaborate around this thing, because maybe it'll be much faster rather than just, sort of using virtually. So that, so everybody has to now start to innovate as to how they want to collaborate and increase productivity. And mind you, a very nice question saying, how do we collaborate to increase productivity? Because if you're not productive, then you're gone. So, it is a very cutthroat world. So you need to be looking at, looking at various newer, innovative ways to start working together and start producing together, so that in the end, it hits the bottom line and the organization is successful.
Indeed, ma'am. Ma'am, one question which again I have seen this question in almost every common platform, and this question is how to monitor and evaluate job performance of employees when they are working remotely.
That's a very good question, because suddenly most of the managers, and if I look at traditional managers that were there, they used to end up saying that, I need to see my worker in front of me, and what time he or she is, the punching in and punching out. So there were this, dictator kind of managers who were there, who were always looking at the time that you spend on your desk and say that, okay, this person is working well or not working well. But right now, of course, those managers, if you had that kind of thinking, you're absolutely obsolete, because that manager will not be able to survive in this current world. So first of all, the manager who is looking at managing his team remotely has to first of all build trust with his team members. Secondly, he or she has to communicate, because the person, because because when you're sitting alone and doing work, and if you do not understand the context, or if you feel that you are all alone doing thing, then the worker also will get lost. So the manager has to be out of his way. Over communication is better than little communication, so never go shy of over communication. And thirdly, be very transparent in terms of what are your needs and what are the time frames that the work needs to be done. So I think if these three things are done, uh, I think one can effectively manage the work. But sitting out of home and saying, hey, मैंने तुमको phone किया था, तुमने phone नहीं उठाया, तुम काम नहीं कर रहे हो, you know, or you are not putting on your video on the Zoom call. I think you are sleeping, and this is not what it is. So those are judgments that managers can have. So you have to give them the freedom of accountability of finishing of work, but have trust, have the communication, and be transparent in your dealings. I think then you'll be able to be a good virtual manager.
I think it's very hard to disagree with you, ma'am, in this point. Moving to my next question, ma'am, what can be the best ways to motivate and boost employees' productivity again when they are working from remotely?
I think a good way will be, again, as I said, communication is very, very important as to how much can you communicate with them, because if you're working in a fine news that you end up getting, and you feel that, hey, you're connected, and kaun aa raha hai, kaun ja raha hai, kaun sa new manager aa raha hai, kaun sa new manager ja raha hai. So so that is a very organization specific conversation that you say that coffee, 4 baje chai sutta conversations that you have. So that is very important. It's a very social need for employees to be in the grapevine of conversation. So I would say, to make them productive, most of the organizations, what they have done in the pandemic, I think there were a lot of innovative ways, because everybody was working from home. They had this employee engagement coffee chats, or they had some happy hours, or they did some virtual celebrations, virtual recognition. I think it helps, because it goes beyond work. It's not 24/7 you're only talking work. They also then said, get your children in front of your screens, introduce your children. So it made the people also connected to the work, and also showcase their life that they're living. I think doing a blended approach of more communication, giving them the space to work, sort of, I think will sort of help in making the people more productive at work, even though they are working remotely. And of course, information sharing. So there are a lot of new tools which are there, where you know even confidential information. They call a lot of organizations, they have not NDA signed by their clients, and you cannot actually get out of the server, and sometimes you have to actually go to office and sort of access those records, etc. So there are very innovative ways of sort of getting that information together, which is also risk free. So there are a lot of ways organizations are ending up doing, but I think communication and transparency remains, again, for the employee also. If he or she gets it, I think that is the best thing for her or him to be more productive at work.
All right, ma'am. I was listening you very carefully. In one of your previous answer, you have mentioned and raised very genuine and important point about the mental health. Ma'am, this is something we should all genuinely talk about this. I believe so. Ma'am, my next question to you is: there are many examples in which we have seen that workplace stress causes depression. What
Hmm.
tips would you like to give to our viewers how they can manage depression and stress management?
See, again, so I'm not a clinical psychologist to say that I know how to give answers on depression. But what are your triggers for depression? If one can understand, I think that is the first thing to understand about yourself, as to why you behaving the way you're behaving. But sometimes you're so depressed that you lose the ability to even think through that, saying that to start questioning your own reasons for being so low, or not having that initiative. But if one is able to do that soul searching, then you might get your answers, but it's easier said than done. But I would always say that reach out to somebody, speak up. speaking up, most of the times we've seen a lot of people also who have suicidal thoughts, etc. They said that they felt very alone. And the other people said, "Humko pata hi nahi chala." This person was, laughing away and, talking. And I won't want to tell the general public that just a person because he or she is laughing and is, cracking jokes doesn't mean that he or she is not depressed. Maybe that is her or his way of, sort of showcasing that everything is right. But the more you talk to a person, the more you try to, sort of, speak to a person every day, you'll realize whether the person, the tonality may pata chal jata hai ki kuch, even if you're laughing, you will know that something is amiss. So I would say that, for managers at least, they should definitely be in touch with their team members regularly. Rather than work thing, they should definitely take out time, like a scheduled time, and start speaking to their team members. And team members itself, sometimes, you're so intimidated by sometimes your manager and your bosses. If you do not have anybody, then please reach out to somebody, have a good friend at work where you can share your concerns. Sometimes, because, which, you have done your work and it's not come out well, and the manager has screamed at you, and you are very upset because you have given the best and you don't know what to do, and you've not spoken to anybody. And then again, the next work come, and again, your performance is down. So it's actually going to a negative spiral, and you've not done anything to reach out. So if there is somebody who you can speak to, a good friend at work, or somebody who you can share to, a mentor that you can reach out to, I think getting mentors is very important. It can be within the organization or outside the organization, but speaking up is very, very important. And for managers, please make sure that you're connecting people, you're reaching out to people, and this thing. So first of all, reflection, if you can, to understand how do I get out of this entire, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling this thing, I don't know what to do. So it's not about, I don't know what to do, and I again keep sleeping and I'll not do anything about it. Accept it and ask for help. Sometimes it could be ask for professional help also, not, when you go and meet up, you speak to a regular person who is interested in your well-being, he or she will advise you saying, "Dekho, ye thoda zyada lag raha hai, maybe you should go to the doctor." And this other thing that I want to tell everybody, and especially, I know the younger generation is much, much more embracing enough of mental health. But it is like a regular disease, which requires attached to it. When I was growing up in our society, it's still very taboo to ask for help, professional help. But I don't think why you require it, because if you are if you are not well, you go to the doctor, right? If you have a पेट में दर्द हो रहा है या सिर में दर्द हो रहा है, you go to the doctor, or you take some medication. That's fine, because this is also something about some amount of your mental health. Your brain is not working well, or it is feeling sluggish. It's always good to reach out for help. So don't have any kind of this kind of a taboo around it. And that's what I can say. Speak up and ask for help. And for managers, please keep the communication open. So that's what I would say.
Again, ma'am, it was a quite wonderful advice from your side, and I can say, ma'am, there's a lot more to learn from you. But today, I don't want to take you much time, so I have to wrap up this session at this point of time. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. It was a very healthy discussion with you on the topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for sort of inviting me and taking my sort of taking my views, and all the best for everybody who's listening in. You all have the potential in you. Just go for it. And the world is changing, and we need people who are more committed, more diligent, and more thinking towards the newer way of work and life. I think then you'll all be successful. So keep reading, keep talking, keep reaching out, and happy day.
Indeed, ma'am.
Thank you, Harsh.
Thank
On
you
the
so
ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside.